Welcome to the ELI5Bot channel, where we read 10 random questions and their most voted answers related to mathematics, economics, culture, biology, technology and many more. Disclaimer.
All the material used on this channel is owned and/or copyrighted by either an individual or company or available on the public domain. This channel may contain offensive, aggressive and rude language or graphic content. ELI5Bot holds no responsibility for those who may be affected by it.
No!
P.S. Don't panic. Up next at number 1, in the category Other, the user Ritterbang asked, how does some speakers produce larger sound and higher quality of sound than speakers of the same size? Frank Tree answered the following. Speakers are machines. Like watches, engines, or any other type of machine, the quality and detail of the engineering and mechanics is what makes one type of speaker better than others of the same size. High-end speaker manufacturers spend years developing and testing new models for that reason. And at number 2, in the category Other, the user Skullcandyable is looking to know, why does Skype update so often? What's happening behind the scenes? The reply comes from SyncTube. Lots of stuff. Sometimes new features like those extra emoji things get introduced, sometimes it's security updates or bug fixes. Skype has a changelog, but it can be pretty vague. And at number 3, in the category Other, the user Swrungdeep is looking to know, how do things grow on you mentally? Why can you start to like something over time that you initially hated or disliked? Which the user Syfy replied. The most recent explanation of the mere exposure effect is the fluency hypothesis. It is established we like things more when we received more exposure. The fluency hypothesis says we learn to identify and process the information faster. Fluency, when we see a stimulus more often. Our brains like the feeling of fluency and we mistakenly attribute our positive feelings of fluency to the stimulus. Reference. Up next at number 4, in the category Biology, the user Gergi asked, why does it take 6 or 7 years to become a doctor in the medical field? 07 Iswriter answered the following. 4 years college, 4 years med school, 1 year internship and you can become a basic doctor. To become a specialist, back to school you go. It's hard to learn every single thing about the human body. Yes, a lot of it will be forgotten because most doctors go into a specific field, but it's still required to have that knowledge before going to the next step. Up next at number 5, in the category Other, the user FIRECRACKER42 asked, what were war bonds for? Which the user Tokyo Jikeo replied. A bond is a way to borrow money. The bond issuer decides the terms, such as the interest rate and repayment schedule, and offers it to people as an investment opportunity. The government issues bonds when it needs to borrow money. During both world wars, the global economy was understandably rather disrupted. Unlike today, when investors the world over are interested in making a safe investment in, especially American, government debt, international finance was heavily restricted, and most nations were interested in their own war effort. Under these circumstances, it was difficult for governments to borrow the money they needed for military spending at affordable rates. War bonds were special bonds that were issued to fund the war effort. Their terms did not necessarily make them good investments. The interest could be below market rate and the repayment period long. But people were encouraged to buy them, that is, to loan money to the government to fund the war effort, in essence, being asked to sacrifice lost investment returns as a donation to their country, although the principal would be repaid. War bonds have not been necessary in more recent wars because they have required far less spending and did not disrupt global finance in the same way. At number 6, in the category Biology, the user Oriton asked, why do pimples hurt and throb until popped? Which the user Bulksalty replied. A pimple is a small pore that becomes blocked and swells in size with sebum, bacteria, and anything else. It's sore because all of your cells that used to be happily next to the pore needs to be displaced to make room for the enlarged pore. After it's popped, all the stuff that had been retained by the blockage drains and your skin cells return to their normal position. At number 7, in the category Other, the user SVARGAS05 asked if there's actually an advantage to using foam, solid or liquid soap over the other two. Which the user Staffelhu replied. A recent study has suggested that solid soap can retain germs on its surface. You can dislodge a lot of them by simply rinsing it off, but it does provide a minor benefit in that a dispenser-type soap can help sidestep that problem. However, if we're using the bottle, one needs to clean it thoroughly or else you're potentially just in the same boat, getting germs inside of it. So a bar of soap may be less desirable in a social setting like a public restroom, where it can pass through many hands and not be subjected to the tightest level of cleanliness. And at number 8, in the category Culture, the user 007 Brendan asks, why were disposable cameras so prolific during the turn of the last century? The reply comes from Tizotlapoka. During the 90s and 2000s, those disposable cameras still had rolls of film in them. And they were a lot cheaper and easier to use than any actual film camera, no carrying rolls of film, those little canisters, accidentally bobbling the film roll and exposing half of it. No need to know what the hell an f-stop is. Just point and click if you want to record your brother vomiting 8 tequila shots at his bachelor party and don't really care about the quality of the picture. It's quick and easy and good enough. But then in the mid-2000s, cheap and easy-to-use point-and-click digital cameras were everywhere. And they could hold hundreds or 1000s of pictures and you didn't have to wait for the film to be developed. Or, even cheaper, you already have a reasonably good digital camera on your Nokia flip phone. All digital camera makers these days are seeing the end of the market. There will always be a demand for professional-grade cameras for the pros, but for the masses, we have everything we need on our smartphones. Interestingly, the disposable cameras you buy now are digital. And there are still times when a disposable camera is preferred over a real digital camera or even your smartphone. Like giving it to a kid or going whitewater rafting where there's a real chance of losing it. Matt lost a $20 disposable camera, not crap, lost my $600 smartphone. At number 9, in the category Biology, the user Freemdeem asks, why do old people's voices change? The reply comes from Fleecelayer. The pitch of your voice is controlled by muscles that pull your vocal cords tighter when they're flexed. As we age, things tend to get less taut, so your vocal cords aren't pulled as tight and your voice gets lower. Also, your vocal cords can get bumps on them from hard use. That can affect the sound of your voice as well. Note that the first part is the same story with eyesight. The muscles that pull the lens in your eye aren't as taut, so you have a harder time seeing things up close. Edit. Taut, not taut. Up next at number 10, in the category Culture, the user Crash Dunning is looking to know, why do more libertarians lean towards the right? What are some libertarian values that are more left than right? The reply comes from Not My Fault. The way to think of it is as follows. Conservatives believe the government shouldn't interfere with economic issues, but should interfere with social issues. Liberals believe that the government should interfere with economic issues, but shouldn't interfere with social issues. Libertarians believe the government shouldn't interfere with economic or social issues. As such, libertarians tend to agree with liberals on social issues, abortion, gay marriage, separation of church and state, and conservatives on economic issues, taxes, regulation, welfare. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.